State Senator Nancy
State Senator, welcome to KPFA WorkWeek Radio. And it seems there are a lot of people out here. People are concerned about what's going on in education in California. What are you saying to them? And we have a California legislature. The majority of the legislature now are Democrats, 2/3 supermajority. We have a surplus of $13 billion. And seems we don't have enough money for the schools and a charter crisis.
There's definitely a charter crisis, and if we look at the situation that our Oakland Unified School District is in, that unfortunately, the kind of abandonment of our public schools, and by some parents who had good motivations, and the growth of charters has reduced the enrollment in our Oakland public schools, which of course the state funds schools based on per daily enrollment. So when enrollment drops, then it really affects the ability for Oakland Unified School District to support their children in the way that all of us want.
So
we both have to confront the
students.
Well, whether cherry picking or not, just their existence removes students from our public schools, which removes the funding to our public schools. So that's something that we have to confront, and I have supported the various efforts to basically put a limit and a stop on charters in OUSD, at least, so that we can.
Are you for a statewide cap? I know in Massachusetts
yes,
there's a statewide cap.
I'm supporting what our new superintendent of public instruction, Tony Thurmond, has been advocating for a cap, and I back what he is advocating. Now, when it comes to statewide funding for our schools, it has gone up. We have done better, but it is not adequate. And when we look at, we're already giving at least 50% of California's general fund to our K-12 education. And a part of the problem, it's not the only problem, but we're still stymied by Prop 13.
But couldn't you pass, like, for example, there's a depletion oil tax you could pass? And
well, many
California
people
doesn't
talk
tax
about
oil.
that, but the amount of money that would bring it in, it's not bad, and I've supported it each time that it's come before the legislature and even been a co-author, but it does not do anything compared to our fixing Prop 13. Fixing Prop 13 is the biggest source of bucks to fund our schools. And when you look at the corporate windfall, the corporate tax windfall that 45 that the current Washington administration gave to California corporations, I'll tell you how much money California corporations gained from that tax cut last year, $57 billion. So if we can just capture even a half of that, our schools would be completely
So that's going to be on the ballot in November?
Yes, of 2020.
So people can vote on that.
Correct.
Now,
and there will be other measures the legislature will consider too.
Now, in 1992, the charter school law passed in California that allowed public money to go to privately run charter schools.
Yes.
And then in 2002, you had Prop 39, which allows co-location. It allows the field. It removes the Field Act protection for students. It's really and allows co-location. You have some times in Independence High and East Alum Rock Park, 3 charters in one public high school. Are you for the repeal of the Charter School Act?
Well, what I'm looking at for Oakland Unified School District is that given their financial difficulty, and they're looking at the need potentially to close some schools, which is quite tragic. But if they do so, that we definitely enact something so that those schools that are closed do not get turned over to charters for charters to operate them. Absolutely not. Would be.
So you're against closing community public schools for charters?
For charters, completely.
But the principle of allowing public money to go to privately run schools, which is the charter school.
I did not support either of those initiatives.
Oh, you did? You were opposed to both of those?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I did not vote for them, and I was publicly opposed to them. Now, whether the voters are willing to overturn them, we'd have to see.
Now, the other thing is the growing corruption scandal in charter schools. You have the American Indian School in Oakland, where money's being stolen really from the kids by executives and cronies, and you have Ref Rodriguez in Los Angeles.
Well, and we saw that school got closed.
Yeah, but I mean, the money disappears, and also land, property. There's a property grab. Charter schools are taking over land.
Well,
and
that's why I spoke specifically to the fact that if OUSD, due to their financial crisis, has to close any facilities, that we have got to step in and prevent charters from.
Well, there was a bill that passed was it 1402 or something, that said that if there's a financial crisis, the legislature or the state will provide money, but then they have to be administered by the state, and they have to turn over their public property to organizations you have to sell.
Yes, which is public property.
Well, why should that happen?
But that would not be a charter school.
Yeah, but why should you be privatizing public land when we have a surplus of $12 billion?
That's why it doesn't say it would be turned over to private operators.
But it would be sold.
It says public agencies would have first right.
Well, there's a issue of developers who are supporting charters. Chamberlain, developer in West Contra Costa, who are actually pushing charters because they want that land. There's kind of a land grab going on in Oakland, West Contra Costa. These developers want that land in a way. They say it's a way of getting.
If OUSD gets to the point where they feel they must close some schools in order to deal with we will absolutely. I will be either enacting or supporting legislation to prevent that land or that facility from being able to be used by a charter.
And you could pass that. The legislature could pass that. Is there a bill for that?
We'll see.
Well, are you going to introduce a bill?
In other words, what did I just say?
We'll see. Well, I mean, if there's a bill that you introduce, then people can support that bill. Well,
of course, but you asked me, will it pass? I can't guarantee that my colleagues would support such a bill. I certainly would work hard to get it passed.
Yeah, there's a lot more education now about charters because of the crisis in California with the charters, and that's the reason Tony Thurmond won, because people now worry the charters are going to take over public education. And it looks like a lot of them have taken over in Oakland with the number of charters that they have in Oakland. So, are you optimistic you're going to be successful in this struggle to protect public schools? As I said,
we will. I'm in for the fight, and we'll do our best.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for joining us on KPFA WorkWeek Radio. Okay. Nancy, good luck. And are you going to be on the picket line when they go on strike?
I always join the picket line.
Okay. Good.